Hey folks, I thought I would tell my story here because it's just a tiny bit kind of more intimate. Um, but I think it needs telling because people are kind of making up stories out there. And I thought I'd tell you the truth about what happened. Um, I told you that I had a ripped muscle. Now that was the way I was diagnosed, and we thought it was like a bizarre gardening accident. I didn't realize that was amusing really. And I kind of forgotten that anything to do with the bum people find amusing. So I got kind of pissed off with all these, Brian May gets a pain in the bum kind of stuff. But anyway, it turned out to be not really the case. I had an MRI, and yes, I did have a rip in my my gluteus maximus. And it's so easy to make a connection. Oh, there's a gluteus maximus. Yeah. There's a rip there, so that must be the cause of the pain. End of story. He's got a pain in his bum, And no other tests were done. Now, a week later, I'm still in agony. I mean, real agony. I wanted to jump at some points. I could not believe the pain. And people are saying, that's not like a ripped muscle. You don't get that amount of pain. So eventually, I had another MRI, but this time I had one of the lower spine. And sure enough, what do we discover? But I had a compressed sciatic nerve, quite severely compressed, and that's why I had this feeling that someone was putting a screwdriver in my back the whole time, and it was excruciating. So finally we started treating the thing for what it was. I'd been putting the ice packs in the wrong place for 10 days or whatever. So that's one side of the story, and I'm a lot better now. I'm actually free of that terrible pain, which actually destroys your mind. I can't believe what it does to your brain. I feel like I'm in the pain. It's been appalling. I don't know if any of you have appreciated that. But in the middle of it, the rest of the story is a little more bizarre and a bit more shocking, really. Well, I was shocked anyway. I thought I was a very healthy guy, and everyone says you've got a great blood pressure, you've got great heart rate and everything. And I keep fit on my bike and everything. Good diet, not too much fat. Anyway, I had in the middle of the whole saga of the painful backside, I had a small heart attack, and I say small, it's not something that did me any harm. It was about 40 minutes of pain in the chest and tightness and that feeling in the arms and sweating, and you kind of know, you've heard, and you think, actually, this is a heart attack. And cut a rather long story short, my wonderful doctor drove me to the hospital himself in his Corniche. And I went straight into what they call the cath room, I think, and had an angiogram. Now, that's the thing where they stick something in your wrist here, and it goes all the way up to your heart, and it can go into your arteries of your heart and find out what's wrong. And it can find out in a way that nothing else can, it seems to me. Nothing else can tell you what the angiogram can tell you. And they looked at me, because you're conscious when they're doing it, they looked at me and said, Brian, I'm sorry, this is a little more complicated than we thought, and we think we should come out of there and we should talk before we actually do anything, rather than just sticking a stent in. So that's what happened, and I went back to a hospital room. I was very lucky to be treated as an emergency case, but I think it kind of was an emergency. But they were very kind. And we talked about it the next day, and there was a lot of pressure because I actually turned out to have 3 arteries which were congested and in danger of blocking the supply of blood to my heart as a valve, as a pump, I should say. And there was a lot of pressure from some quarters to have the open heart surgery, where they saw through your rib cage, really, open you up and open your heart up, and have a triple bypass. A lot of pressure, and a lot of people said, if you don't do this, you're throwing away a terrible, your only opportunity, and you can regret it for the rest of your life. But I had other people telling me, look, you don't need to do this. You can have 3 stents put in, and you can walk tonight or tomorrow morning. So after a lot of thought and deliberation, I opted for the stents. And the next day, actually the same day, I went in there and they did it. And it wasn't that easy, but the only reason it wasn't easy for me was because of the pain, the excruciating pain I had in my leg. Otherwise, it would have been a doddle. I mean, they had to kind of put me out in the end because I was writhing about and pulling my tubes out because the pain was so bad in my leg. But when I came round, it was as if nothing had happened. I couldn't feel that they'd been in here. I couldn't feel anything, and I still can't. It's been amazing. It's an incredible operation done by the right skillful person, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart, because I walked out with a heart that's very strong now, so I think I'm in good shape for some time to come. And if I'm not, we can have another angiogram. I have this feeling that like everybody from the age of 60 onwards should have an angiogram whether they have any problems or not, because that's the only thing that can tell you. I had no idea. I had great electrocardiograms and whatever, you know. Nothing could tell me that I was about to be in real trouble, because I could have died from that, from the blockages that were there. Anyway, I didn't die. I came out, and I would have been full of beans if it weren't for the leg. And I've only just got to the point where the leg is kind of livable, because I have a fantastic physiotherapist and a doctor who stayed with me and adjusting the painkillers and stuff. Painkillers are another story, you know. When you're in that much pain, I hate painkillers, but you have to go for it, and I did, and I went on these severe painkillers. And that's a horrible trip as well. I mean, that's, I don't know what's worse really, the pain or the painkillers. So kicking that, which I did a couple of days ago, was a big step for me. And I'm not on any painkillers now. And I'm dealing with it. You've got to kind of put up a fight, really, I suppose. So I thought I'd tell you this story. If you're not bored by now, thank you for listening. But that's what happened. And I think there's some lessons to be learned, I must say. And I think we've all got to really look at ourselves as we get to the kind of later, to the autumn years. And what seems to be a very healthy heart may not be. And I would get it checked if I were you. And I think I will get it checked from time to time now. But I'm very grateful. I'm incredibly grateful that I now have a life to lead again. And it's one of those things, you know, I was actually very near death because of this. But the pain that I had was from something completely different. It's funny how things work. But I'm good. I'm here. And I'm ready to rock. And God bless you all. I'll be interested to hear your reactions to the story. But I'm good. There's no need to panic, you know. And there's no, please don't send me sympathies and stuff, because I'm good. Just send me congratulations if you like. Okay. God bless. Mwah.